Welcome, 2nd of June. Well, I need to cover for Viking. He's stuck on the event, so he couldn't make it, and this is really spontaneous. Wasn't prepared at all for this today, but let's get cracking and get over it. This is a quite volatile day that's coming up, so be aware of it. As we know, we are close to Q3 already, so the volatility start to pile up. We have some numbers coming in into the market. It's been already from yesterday, today, as well, job openings, and we have some PMI tomorrow, and then end of the week as well. Farming payroll quite important, and employment rates. So be aware, the volatility is gonna go through the whole week. We start to get some confluence on the oscillation on the VIX, and already after we kind of broke again the low from the 15 daily low, we're still holding on two major lows. We're starting to see some pullbacks happening, right? Nothing major yet, but we see already it coming back, an inflow of the market that start to get a little bit lower, but overall VIX start to get back. Now things start to change eventually when we start to reach 17.2. Let me erase this, 17.2. We start to break the low time frame structure on it, and then we start to grab some higher, much more higher up of the swing lows, and maybe we're gonna just do the whole break of structure and change of character, right? If you break out of 19, but so far we just literally bouncing from the low that we settled. Let's see if that's going to be something long-lived. If not, we still could continue into 14. Right, as we know that this could be even continuation, because it is till we're not gonna break out from this area and then start to get back at the highs. Quite simple, right? So yeah, eventually still continuation to the downside. So prepare yourself that we should and could see some more even lows grabbing on the market, but overall this is still continuation. Okay, so that's hopefully quite clear on it. Moving on Dixie. Jesus, Dixie doesn't want to lose this level quite hard, and I've been talking that they've been really stacking it, and you can see that as well on the money flow right now. Just because it didn't drop and it goes slightly into the neutral line, this been going sideways and accumulating quite a lot right now. It's hardcore hold it, right? We didn't even break the lows yet. Yes, we're going a little bit more lower on the structure, but still this is not broken. Watch it. If the volatility starts to kick in, if the dollar starts to be a little bit more heavier on the market, we could potentially get rid of that fair value gap over here and get back at $100. Now flipping $100 and getting back at 100.5, that's the major resistance that we didn't been in like almost a year. It is a year that we've been in this all sideways. So watch it, right? We're still aiming to go higher because we still didn't break anything on it majorly, right? Like, yeah, the whole high time frame, it is a little bit broken, but we are going sideways instead, going in a continuation move. Note as well, hard to see, but this is something as well that I like to look out for it. We do see some decrease on the bots of the automation bot, right? So yeah, this start to flip a little bit lower and lower. If we start to get above the neutral line, then yeah, we might blast it a little bit more higher. So something to notice. Now moving on the total tree, and as I've been mentioning as well on my own streams, this is still continuation sideways. Yes, we had that one fake out into the lows, but that fake out was as well quite important. What happened, because we've been tested with that low, the whole lows that we settled at May last year. So that level doesn't exist anymore, and the only level that could hold us potentially is going to be the 700 billion. That means that's something that we settled in April this year, right? So yeah, it's been a quite nice uptrend, but we are in a broken structure, right? We are in the range below the previous range that we break out from. So still, this is aiming, and potentially we see already some potential for reversal on the oscillation to go lower, right? So if the whole overall market is going lower, most, else in 99% of the coins will do the same. Moving on and carrying on the gold. Sideways still a little bit, potentially building up some more accumulation for going higher. it doesn't want to break the lows of 4.3. It's been tested, so watch it. Every single pullback right now could be potentially a little bit more dangerous to go for it. But for gold, right now, the only thing that's holding us is 4.5. Regaining that said, it's going to be quite easier to go above the wick into the highs of, or even underside retest of 4.6. So that could be as well quite nice, because that's going to be the first time since we went for the swing failures retest of the whole failure even, right? That was last time we did it was in March. So yeah, it could be potentially game changing for gold. So yeah, something to watch out for it, right? There's not much to test above it till we're gonna meet 4.7. So yeah, good stuff. This is still good, but eventually you don't want to lose anything on the low time frame. Now, that said, we are already swing failing, testing the highs that we came from. We are holding on 4.4. Now, losing technically, already starting losing on 4.4. Let's say 4.47, right? Let's make it easier. Losing this hip already could potentially start to break this low time structure into the lows, right? Still, potentially some bounce could happening around 4.3 if you're gonna aim for the bigger swing, right? If you're gonna see something like this, potentially we could recover and go higher up, because they are starting to stack a little bit more below us, and I like to see that just because then you know there is a little bit more liquidity to go from. Right, if this could be empty, we could slide a little bit into those low time frame liquidity for any kind of potential of bounce. Right, we had a really nice retest over here, failure of it as well, because there was quite a lot of liquidity. Now, either way, if you're gonna grind this for a little bit longer, that's even better, because then you're gonna start to stack it a little bit more thicker, and then that's could be potentially the way of going a little bit more higher. Okay, so I hope that's quite clear on it. Silver, still the same position as gold. Like, it always attempt to copy the whole structure as well on it, a little bit more higher, so it's a little bit more in better position overall. But so far it's still holding quite nicely on the lows, right? So potentially for it to break out of 77, it's a rip into the 87-ish area to retest the swing, because there is a fair value gap quite thin on the liquidity and order block. So yeah, could rip even higher on it, and then regaining that, like setting just a new high on it, potentially coming back again. That could be super nice continuation for it, right? To get back at the 94-ish resistance. So yeah, great stuff, really great. It's really good looking overall for the commodities gold and silver so far. Oil, as we mentioned as well, like we had that gap in between the 97-ish and 94. We came into it, that's still holding us a little bit more below. Now regaining that, filling up that gap, could send us a little bit more higher into the underside retesting of 100. Right, still that's potentially a nice level to retest. It's been already the retesting on the back, on the way down, that's fine, but there still could be an area of resistance, right? In any case, the high of it then. So this could be still potentially an area of resistance, just because we broke the low, we get lower than the wick, we are still holding on the support, but we are from the downside on a broken structure on it, right? So still nice to see it's going a little bit lower overall. Nasdaq still is in continuation. Like, I will not even step in front of that. Yes, we are quite heavily starting to get heavily in divergency pattern. We had already one reversal sign coming in on the divergency, or regular divergency. Now second one, it's already piling in, and that don't need to play out, right? This still could go a little bit more higher and then do the flip as in something like this, right? And then do one more, because it's not going to be in a broken structural high time frame till it's not going to meet and get back below 28. So that's still in a continuation no matter what, right? Yes, it could have a really nice pullback into the lows, like at least 89.4 for the continuation, or if not, it still can be stubborn and get around 94, 29-ish. So yeah, overall continuation it is, right? That's quite clear to say. Now, on the aggregated situation of the stocks, it's a little bit different because, as we've been mentioning, this is a quite area of resistance over here above us. Right, let me delete this. Right, that been already known, and we got into that area already twice, still in a continuation, right, momentum. We are already heavily divergent on it and starting to get outflow into the neutral / negative almost. This could potentially be the break of it and continuation lower, right? That said, this is just aggregated plus 10 stocks, what I have it on here, or even 10 stocks. It's nothing comparing to the whole NASDAQ, okay? So yeah, this could be the beginning of turning around. This could be going first, like even breaking some stuff, retesting, breaking, retesting, and then doing all of this, change of character, right? And then NASDAQ can follow up on it. But that's just something in major stuff and quite a longer time frame from now on. But that's my opinion about it, right? I think Viking is a little bit different on that, but yeah, this is just me looking at it. Overall, what we do is still, like I've been saying as well a little bit on my own streams, for me personal, the CME gaps to tell you a little bit a different story. It's not something that you should aim for it for regain or fill that, but for me, it's even if it's in the weakness or if it's in the strength of the continuation of the whole thread. Now, note as well, we've been over here going through small gaps and we didn't even close them. Like right now, we are starting to close them on the back and turnover. And the ones that we settled over here, they are still not closed. And technically, we're starting to get a little bit more in between on the low time frames gaps over here. That means it's still pressure to the downside and it's been heavily pressed right now. But you are looking to go back for it. So yeah, this is as well kind of the situation how I look at the CME gaps, right? So yeah, going lower, right? Now let's go on the daily. Now this is quite interesting because we mentioned that as well last time. Like we are technically doing a little bit more the same like we used to do it on the way up. On the daily side, on the Bitcoin, where are we? We are way below the high time frame liquidity. We are already halfway into the super low time frame, 5 axis and 10 axis stuff. We broke the first high time frame low, sorry, not first, but it's already the third one. Daily low on 70k. Now we literally are at 68 low. Technically that could still hold us, potentially flip, but then below that it's the last low that we technically could hold on it before we're gonna nuke the off the cliff, because there is nothing to hold us, right? So what are we doing right now is just seriously going into the continuation, and that's heavily been based on, right? Same thing what we did over here. Like I've been mentioning that as well for a couple of times already, and I know it's already a broken record, but from the high that we did, we went quite heavily into the lows. Why? Because we broke all of the stuff that we could potentially hold on. We went sideways, and now we are breaking the major stuff as well before the maybe turnover and going off the cliff, right? Same thing, it could happen even potentially over here, right? But yeah, we are technically looking for any kind of rebounds if that's happening. If we're going to hold on anything, any kind of major low is right now 67. That's the only low that still could potentially hold us, right? Yes, we could sweep it, come back, and then do some kind of range sideways to underside retest or come close to it for another way of pulling back, right? But this has been already heavily going in one direction only so far. It's been already quite nice to see on the capital flow that this is like really, really heavy stuff. Last time we've been there, that was exactly on the move from the high that we settled on 92, right? That separation, that's exactly the same. A little bit more extreme on the alts only this time. Stablecoins are continuing still higher, and the shitcoins are neutral. So that's quite something, because most of the times they are like really super low or super high, but so far they are still neutral. So there are a little bit more strength into the alts, definitely in the alts, and a little bit more into the shitcoins, large caps. This is still continuation. still that's not gonna cover and going into the technically minus 60, and then starting to get into the neutral line, around the neutral line as well, is still continuation. I'm sorry to break it to you, but this is it. We are still in the whole money flow negative, and this is still in continuation, right? And this is on daily time frame. Like, don't get me wrong, right? It's nothing low time frame yet. This is still in continuation till we're not gonna just stop for a second, do the relief bounce, and then hopefully we're gonna reach 73, right? That's the first one. So yeah, then cash flow still no sign of reversal sign, right? That can come a little bit later. And watched as well, we are already like quite far away from the middle of the whole momentum, right? So that's already 10%, and we are still like in small average move on the cash flow, comparing it to the last time, right? So yeah, this is quite important. Now, moving from the daily into the low time frame, just to see like the perspective what's happening on the low time frame. Like, we've been stacking quite heavily liquidity above us, but we couldn't reach it, right? So the failure came on 1 hour, quite significant, when we couldn't regain the previous high on 73. That's been already twice retested it, and then already this was like seriously like everything was like just push the bottom to the bottom, and that's it. Right? Not even one strength came into that one. Now, setting this kind of price action, right, into the lows and breaking seriously everything, it's just done. Not even one sign of reversal, right? And then just going off the cliff constantly. Not even coming close to retesting any kind of highs. So yeah, this is just heavily pushed into the lows. And yes, it's still possible, because there is, like you said, like low leverage liquidity, still fine. We did it as well, like all the way, I'm not gonna go there on the 1 hour, all the way over here as well. Like, look at that. We went through all of the low leverage, and even like into the 1 and 2 axis or 5 axis. So possible again, definitely. And like I've been mentioning as well, like, note, this is well something interesting. Watch where all of the low time frame stuff is ended. 43, right? Doing the same thing over, right, around 40% momentum. Look at that. Liking, like to say that as well, like, we don't rhyme. It's similar, right, to the last move that we did, and it is. So yeah, this is something as well to watch out for. But yeah, we are still in a continuation. We might see some relief bounces right now coming in, but then still low time frame stuff. I would like at least to see something around 70.9 area to regain that hip over here and grind it out, right? Because you're not gonna do one big regain, and if you're gonna do like one big into the 73, that's the next short. Easily as that. But yeah, we are quite heavily going into the losses of selling off, right? Potentially event, and this is it, right? Heavily into the cash flow. Even MACD is quite heavily, quite down. Strength is low, not even picking up yet. So everything aimed to go a little bit more lower. Even the squeeze potential couldn't get back at 80. So weakness it is, right? It is a little bit weaker than we had it like a week or two ago. Now, moving on the capital flow index, overall market view, this is as well something interesting and quite fun to see on the daily. This kind of a big spread. Right? It's quite significant. So yeah, this is quite nice to see. And as well, I've been talking about as well, that flip of USDT going down. Like, notice last time we did it was the February open level. Now, what happened 2 days ago? We had a new level, June level came in, right? And right now we see the kind of the sell-off of a new month that came in. But we are still in to the whole new weekly as well. Now, Hype doesn't give a dime about it for now, and there are some outliers as well on the alts. Nasdaq and SPX quite high, but the strength coming off, right? You can see quite clearly on the daily that they start to have some sell-offs as well. And that's as well quite clear because they're on price discovery as well, both of them. So yeah, any kind of profit is quite clear and logically to be taken right now. Now, notice as well, I've been talking about that if VIX start to regain his previous high that it settled on capital flow, we could see a quite big momentum of the volume going into the downside. And look at that, we are starting to get into the neutral line on VIX, and that's only already with those small push-ups of the volatility. We didn't even regain nothing on the charts, right? And this is only the inflow of the volatility. So that says quite a lot as well on the market right now. Dixie is already in 20% positive capital flow. So yeah, this is still continuation. If the VIX start to get back at neutral line and a little bit above, we're going for it. That's the only sign that I'm looking for. PEX is already down. Silver start to pick up a little bit more. Now, overall market total 3 is down from positive 12 into the negative already. Still, this is going to be the continuation. That's on the daily. Now, weekly wise, looks a little bit different. Of course, because it's a little bit more high time frame. Hype, it's the freaking king of the kings. Nasdaq and SPX are a little bit more follow up on it. No, not much to see on it. USDT start to going a little bit down. That says all of it inflow start to get back into the definitely a little bit more into the Dixie communities, but most of it goes into the stocks, Nasdaqs, and different stuff, right? Market overall crypto market is still down and continuing lower. Now VIX is starting to get a little bit more push up on it. So note if we start to get above minus 27, then yeah, should start to hit the van. But so far, still continuation, right? Now finally we can move to a 4 hour on Bitcoin. Me yapping about it, and that sell-off like perfect to the T from the June and weekly open. I've been mentioning that as well quite heavily. I've been warning people for it as well last week. Like, watch it. That will be in any kind of direction volatile move, right? A new monthly open overlapping with the daily and the weekly. It's a volatile one. You cannot deny that. And there it is, right? This is your sign. Now, this could play out in a couple ways, right? So far, we do still have a decent support around Q2, March and April. Those levels are highly already tested. Instead, April and Q2, right? You can argue that it's been tested because they've been only on the way up. We still could see it as potentially support, but it could play out in two ways. If we're going to go lower and sweep the lows from the levels, coming back and close ending into those structure, still could potentially be a low that it's broken because we've been lower already. We've been taking the liquidity, and then we could grind into the highs of the June, retest that, and then you have a bigger failure, right? If that happens, June will be, or at least 73.7 will be the area to short, right? We still could potentially do a little bit more a nasty one. That said, we still could go a little bit more higher up into the previous weekly open, and this area over here will be even much more appealing to short because this is quite heavily resistance. We failed twice from it, and now we are quite lower. Like, this is already what, 10%, yeah, 12% lower than the swing failure. So coming back from that one, this is like a no-brainer as well. Stupid fib, and depends like how deep we're gonna go, right? Expect us going something like this. There we have it, right? Picture perfect, and that could be a bigger, massive failure on 4 hour. But yeah, overall, it doesn't look good, and I don't have much faith on it that we're gonna hold on those levels. We could go a little bit deeper just to fake out everyone and just to panic, right? Create a little bit more panic, and this is what the market makes most of the times want, right? If you're gonna be somewhere like below 73, like, I bet you most of the retails gonna nuke on the freaking short bottom right now, right? They're gonna press the bottom like freaking us crazy over here, and then what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn around, grab all of the liquidity, right? And then they're gonna start to long into that one, and bye bye. That's technically the best scenario that I can find right now for myself to re-short my my shorts. But yeah, those are the levels. Definitely June, retest of June, any kind of retest of that, that's gonna be the failure right now, just because of this whole pressure to the downside. So we're gonna test it. If that was the valid one, I mean, no brainer. If that's the high time frame level, that's definitely gonna be a quite valid one. Now note, after that, like I mentioned, there's one more level that I care about. That's 77.5. Those two levels. Overall, definitely right now, it's the best way to take TPs in any kind of case. If you are even on long on some assets that they are printing right now, either way, it's the area to take any TPs, right? Please. But yeah, still continuation into the lows. There's not much that's gonna hold us, right? Even this level over here that I marked, like 76, like I don't even bother to look at it so much or deeply, because I don't care about it. But after all of those structures being lost, I don't think that over here we're gonna see any kind of potential of support. And if so, then I said, if we're gonna sweep it, hold it, and then just gonna be short-lived for any retest, and that's it. But yeah, heavily pressed lower. But even the reversals didn't came in. Divergence, the hidden one, it did play it out for a short time frame, but yeah, it's still in the whole momentum to go lower. Like I've been saying as well, use this, right? Reverse your charts on the invert. That will help you, like, because what we've been doing is the same thing what we've been doing to the downside, like breaking, going lower, breaking, going lower, breaking, going lower, failing, going lower, and look how heavily they've been pushed into the lows. And now what we're doing, regaining, going higher, regaining, going higher. Like, that's easily said to show you in any way of if you want to trade of confluence or confirmation what we are doing. Still, this is heavily going lower. Let's see if we're gonna see any kind of rebounds or relief bounce from the market right now, but so far it looks like it only wants to go lower, and the fuel for that, it's still coming in hard, right? There's still quite a lot of orders placed. I hope you can see that. Oh man, you can't. Okay, let me change the screen. Change screen. This. Yeah, now you can see. So the fuel for us to going lower easily, right? We didn't even reach the whole block, and now it comes the juicy part of it. Everything what's been placed over here, it's been already pulled, right? So there is like not even one order left, and I'm already quite low on the setting just to show you something, right? There's nothing there. So yeah, there's not even one reason to come back. Low time frame, yeah, any kind of pullback, like I said, regaining 69 plus 69.6-ish, or even getting back at 70. Those are the first two reversal signs that we could potentially do some damage to the upside. But so far, look at that, the orders are stacked a little bit more heavily to the downside. So yeah, is there any potential to go lower? Yes, a couple millions of it even. So yeah, there are some potential reasons for it to break stuff and even go a little bit more lower. And even this stuff, like this whole order that been placed for like quite a long time, it's been pulled. They chicken out. But yeah, that's bit on the big bitty. Really nice failure from weekly and monthly level. And this is as well, like me and definitely Viking been like stretching it for so long. Like those level on matters, like losing that level on that open the first of the month, that's no brainer. The volatility of those levels, it's crazy. It's really crazy. So yeah, this is it. Let's see on the ALGO master what's gonna show us. There it is. Nice support. Two big blocks below us, right? They are not overlapping, but still fine, right? getting into that. So that's technically kind of a no-brainer that we could sweep into that one. Doesn't say we're gonna hold it or not, but just wicking below 65, it's done. Everything what we did from beginning of March, it's done, right? We are already starting to change the whole character of this whole momentum move, right? Because that's definitely a broke of the structure and conforming it, going lower than the wick. So that's already first. Yes, there is some stuff below us, but it's all on the wicks, nothing on the body, so there's not much to hold us. Only on the orders, right? The blocks and the orders blocks and the whole volume that's there. That's the only sign and only reason that could potentially give us a relief bounce, right? Getting here, relief bounce whatsoever, how high it can be, and then you have a continuation. Highest resistance right now, 75 on the side retest, if not 79.6. It's a small one on June, but that's for sure one of the biggest, because that's the retest. But we could fake out, like I said, wick into those levels, come back, close, wick into it, close below, and then you have a continuation. That one, that's going to be a nasty one, but it's going to be quite volatile one. If that comes in, and you're going to see that the candle of, for example, daily or 4 hour, no matter, comes into June, but we're pushing higher, and when the candles start to reverse and closing below, that's done. That's goodbye, and we will see you in bear market stuff. But yeah, so far we could potentially see today or end of today some relief bounces. So that's on the bitty. Let me have a look on the chat before I'm going to move on some altcoins. CME gap, yeah, it's 24/7. That's correct. Yeah, it's from last week Thursday. I guess they uploaded news for it. So yeah, it is official 24/7. Yeah, I mean, like, for me, that's not really like a use case. Like, I only watch it. Like, is there any gaps? Like that kind of stuff. Sometimes when I'm watching the daily opens, for example, that's on my side, like midnight. Around it, I like to look at the CME because they front run it, like they are 1 hour earlier. So then I would like to see, like, okay, how does the CME gap open or close? But that's all. The gaps, like I said, I couldn't care less about it. I don't trade them. For me, like, how I like to look at them, it's just more like, are we in a continuation? Yes or no? That's it. But yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, 24 hours 7 CME gap. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, ENG don't. Yeah, ENG one. Yeah, that one. It's going really good. Even better than I expected it to go. So this is great. This is really good. I love it. And this is as well, like, not only the strength, but any kind of, like, for example, let's say one of the biggest scenario that can come in, that we will heading into the bear market, and we're gonna do the. I have way too many lines. We're gonna do the dump, let's say, from right now to 40-ish. That's another 40% minus, right? For injective, that could be a really good sign what they are doing right now. They specifically push it quite heavily into the highs, because next time you're gonna do the big dump, you're just coming into your support, right? So that's as well another 40%. You're coming to your support and you just can continue it without breaking the lows and then trying to do it again and then again and again. That costs way too much money overall. But then what they can do is right now grabbing all of the money they can, going back into the lows, keeping the price where it should be for months, and then blast it. Right? Because this is the first strength that comes in. The second one is holding on the support, regaining the high, and you go off into the moon. Anyhow, next level for injective is still November level. That's the underside retest of 7.5. That's kind of my key level, right? So far, we've been really regaining quite heavily the daily structure. So yeah, this is already in a break of structure and change of technically character. If we're gonna settle a higher high, higher low on it. After November, there are some levels that I'm looking at it. This is just based on structure and underside retest. That's 8.2. 9.1 and 9.9 for now, right? And then you have the Q3. So yeah, but I don't think we're gonna go there right now. This easily can go just and do the stuff what they need to do. So pulling it back and grabbing the all of the liquidity from below. Hype as well, ballistic. It went into the, oh no, it didn't. It didn't hit $80 yet, but yeah, it's still in a positive just by holding the weekly and June. So for so long that it's holding the level of 71, it still can go higher. Now, people ask me like, how do I deal with this kind of like uptrend with price discovery? Let me just, is this? Yeah, this is the one. So what I like to do, it's not that I don't want to miss any kind of opportunity to take profits. I just want to take profits when price starts to get in the area that it's unknown. How do you do that? Technically, it's quite easy. If you are known with the token and technically you know what kind of momentum moves that it can do, I like to split them. For example, hype, I said it like from the moment that we did the new all-time high, I said like around 5% movement into the upwards, right? Another 5% from the last high, and then 5% from the previous high. And those levels I split in two, right? The wick and the high, the wick and the high, the wick and the high. And like that, every single level that's gonna be go upwards, you still hit your TPs. And I can set those TPs like 5%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, right? Slowly chipping off and out of the token, because you never know when it starts to reverse, because this can do a massive dump on you, right? And then you're going to be, oh shit, I missed out on my TPs. And like that, you technically never going to be missed out. And at least at maximum what I can miss out on is like what, 5 and 10% move on a token that does like 20% easily in one candle. Like, that's not a big deal. But missing out on like 40% TP because you, sorry to say, you was greedy and you didn't take away anything from the table, then yeah, that's on you. But like that, I just like to cover myself. Just slowly chipping off out of it, right? And then, yeah, major TP has been already taken, right? That's no brainer on the breakout and on the technically the whole second momentum that it had. But right now, yeah, it's just chipping out of it slowly. So yeah, this is how I like to do. And this is different from token, right? Like you need to understand and need to like calculate like, okay, what kind of movement it does, like average, and use that in your advantage of taking TPs. So yeah, I just like to cover myself like that without even worrying. Let's have a look on the biggest meme coin overall. So ETH, how are you doing, ETH? So high time frame still technically is fine, just because you previous weekly you didn't close or below 1.9, but right now you are aiming to go lower. So let's have a look on the daily, right? Closing the daily right now, yeah, that's gonna be major, breaking the low of 1.9 and confirming that broke of structure. Next hip that it still could possibly hold us is around 1.9. After that, nothing. The line of 1.8 is literally for our structure only. This is all, right? So it's technically similar to Bitcoin. If you consider this the whole Bitcoin momentum, right, and the whole high, and we're going for the lows, breaking those two lows, it's done, right? This still could go even lower, possibly, because you are not that aggressive on it like we are on the Bitcoin. So yeah, but yeah, it is what it is. Like, I stopped caring about this whole meme coin quite easily. And look, this was as well quite perfect. We've been talking about that one, huh? Retest of that high twice, right? You needed to test it twice to see if it's valid, and that was your break of freaking whole uptrend. So there it is, right? That's how important are those levels, and heavy, really heavy on the TA. But yeah, oh yeah, Solana. Ooh, rough. Yeah, that's gonna be something. Yeah, so yeah, there is nothing, right? There is literally nothing to hold. We are right now below 79. That was the level to hold. So if we're not gonna reverse this and go back above 79 and close anything above that and hold that, we are still gonna chip away into the lows. And believe me, Solana can have like a big wipe, right? We can go into the 76, but we can as well easily go into the 67, right? Feeling this whole order block shenanigans. It's been heavily hold. Unfortunately, it didn't do nothing because you couldn't regain the high fully. I mean, technically you did, but then you failed. That's like, yeah, it's a stretch, but still, right? Like, for me, yeah, that's a good regain, but then if you cannot hold it, then why even bordering, right? And this is why, because you want that reader's gonna long into it heavily. That's why. So yeah, liquidity grab it is. By losing 76, it's gonna be major. For it, unfortunate. What do we have? AVAX, same thing, right? But in AVAX defense, it didn't regain high. So it just did perfect retest of the previous swing failure, right? And confirm it. So yeah, they are quite transparent about it if you want to say like that. But yeah, losing right now, for example, 8.5, that's gonna bring you a little bit lower into the 8.2. That's the only small support that still holds us, because the last week that we settled below it, it didn't reach it. So technically, I'm still taking this as a support. But overall, we can swipe a little bit lower into the 7.5. So, yeah. Interesting, right? And notice as well, like, there isn't like much coming from the New York market open right now. So, yeah, pressure is still down, right? And potentially we could. There is a quite nice pocket below Q2, right? So we could get back at a little bit more and fill this fair value gap. I like to mention this as well, like why I don't like this kind of momentum breakouts. Like there are like when you are in the trade on the long, perfect, you are happy. But you need to realize when we're gonna go back, right, all the way over here, those fair value gaps, they're like a slide, right? You get on it and you slide way lower, like super quick, because that's what they do. There's nothing to hold us. No order blocks, no orders, thin liquidity, and you just go through them like knife through butter. But yeah, still continuation. Any kind of retest of the daily, right? 4 hour, or at least 73, it's still continuation. But no, like heavy liquidity, yes. But this is as well, like, don't get me wrong, going into that liquidity, wick into it, coming back, close anything below June, done. And believe me as well, when I said the 4 hour can close, and what they can do, it's sneaky, because they lose the low, they're gonna grind forever, right? They're gonna close the 4 hour above June, right? Get all that liquidity and then fail from it, but the daily gonna look like this, like wick, body close below, and done, right? So that can be as well quite sneaky, but we are quite aggressive going into the lows. Anyhow, continuation it is. Oh, Pur, yeah, Pur, it's going ballistic just because the hype it's going. So yeah, Pur, it's going. I'm 10% on it, not much left for my bags, but I don't care less after the 1x on the order that I had. So it's good. Days are good. There's not much for us to go over on the tokens. There are some volume coming in on ZAG, of course, right? It's always going to do the definition of opposite from Bitcoin and the rest of the market. Quant is holding massively going for the liquidity. Starting to break out, but you need to close anything above 76 for it to confirm anything. Near, it's still in the underside, or not really underside anymore. It's already starting to do the retest of the swing failure, but it created at 2.8 and the failure of it right now. This is on 4 hour. Be aware of it, right? We broke this structure over here twice even. So either regain this doesn't mean anything till you're not gonna regain the high. Right now, this is just technically your area to try to take any shorts if you need it. But note as well, after this whole uptrend, right, I would not be surprised if they're gonna do one more. Right, wick into the highs or even get back at 3 and then start to major short. Now, this is as well the reason why our lovely Canadian does these things with 1.5 invalidation, because even if you're going to get into the highs, that could still provide a bigger swing failure, right? So yeah, but this is the area as well for it, and that's 4 hour. Let me have a look on the daily. I'm quite interested how that does look like. Oh boy, yeah, you lost that hip over here already. So that support from that continuation, that's already gone. The next one is around 1.6-ish level, and that's going to be quite nice one to hold. But yeah, this one is gone, so you potentially could go one more into the highs and then start to do a bigger stuff. But it's still holding, right? You could even retest the June, so that could be as well like a small pullback. Either way, right? Coming back at the June and then do the bigger stuff. If that start to going into the neutral line on the oscillation and the cash flow start to keep up on positive, yeah, that could be a nice one for the long. I would not rather go in front of that right now. I would like to see some more of it to break the structure, or even right now I would rather to see break the low, come back, just because you went below June, and that doesn't matter anymore. That level has been tested, and then take your swing on it. Right now it's a little bit more dangerous because, like I said, it could run one more and then do a bigger swing failure from it. So yeah, overall great performance on there. Oh yeah, I think I can cover that as well. Just because I was vocal in the pro signal before people gonna hunt me about it and say how wrong I was. And please, by all means, do it. I like it. So yeah, Crow. We had this whole big up momentum. We did hit above the previous swing high. So yeah, technically we settled a new higher high, and we started to break that, right? That's still fine. Like, this is just spot backs and DCing into it, right? Now, note as well, like I've been talking about it, we broke the whole 3 years of support. Right now, we are below that. We're grabbing all of the liquidity. So something that I'm holding on it, this still potentially is fine for me. I'm buying a new single low of it, and I'm already like trying to laddering in some long position on leverage. It's not big because most of the exchanges don't have anything above 20x, so still good. Why I'm holding on it now? Overall inflow of capital is still growing, right? It didn't reach the low that we settled on 0.0, was that 69, right? It's still growing. We are a little bit lower, but either way, if Dixie start to break and going lower on it, so if the capital rotation is gonna be flipping, that's gonna send. Now, second thing that keeps me quite positive about it, every single time, let me switch this off, every single time we did those ballistic moves, right before those moves, we've been in the broken structure, right? So from the previous low, we set a new lower low, and then we start to do this. From the previous low, we set a new lower low, and then we did those moves, right? Yeah. From the previous low and even lower low, we settled a new lower low, and then we did the whole ballistic moves, right? So I think that makes quite a lot of sense right now. So right now, what did we do? Not only from the previous one, but even from the wick that we set, from the wick, we are setting new lower low. So yeah, we just grabbing all of the low liquidity from 3 years. That's heavy, right? If you get that to build up and you grab that, yeah, we could slightly below it, but this is super thick. On the weekly, it's super thick, right? Daily, same thing. And then on the 4 hours, don't think they're gonna be much. Oh, there is. Right, there is still quite a lot below us to grab. Right, there is a gap, and then the leftovers start to be over there. So yeah, we potentially can go back at, what's that? 3.62 even lower and DCA into it. I'm not scared about it. This is just spot backs. It's nothing to do with high time frame leverage or whatsoever. It's just spot backs. And yeah, potentially still looking good in my opinion. Take it as it is. Let's go back on the biddy. What are we doing? I was 1 hour. Ooh. Juice in continuation. Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Anyhow, any questions? Jesus, I'm always surprised. When I start to yapping, no one wants to ask questions. But when Viking is here, the chat is blowing up. Guess the difference. I think that's clear. Or no questions? Okay. Everyone's quiet. Jesus. Is this on? Is the mic on, by the way? Can you hear me? That's going to be something special if I've been doing this without the mic off. But yeah, oh boy. See? Continuing. I've been too clear, okay. Yeah, we can hear you. What's a joke? Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, that's still going for. So if you want to be a little bit more specific on your charts and where we should go for, quite easy. This dotted line is the line that we are right now. So use the body and the wicks, right? Those are the first two major levels that you should keep an eye on it. If you're gonna go lower than that, where's the next one? You just go to the left, right? So that's over here, right? That's the one. That's the body, small one to hold, but that's on 1 hour, right? Now that I'm for 1 hour, right? So you have your levels, but we should definitely go for it, right? Then what I would prefer is go to 4 hours. It's going to be a little bit more cleaner on your eyes as well, because there is not much to for us to chart, right? So big, right? This first one, then the whole body candle over here that didn't been tested. That's a major one, and the rest is over here, right? The VIX, and then you just go and you can see like how close we are. Like, where are we? Nuke it, right? On top of that, switch on your charting tool, and you're gonna have your open levels. That's quite important. Note as well, like I've been saying, I'm kind of having a little bit faith in April and Q2 because that level, like, it's quite new, right? And we've been going through it over here. Like we went through, fucking hell, through, pardon my French, go back, test it, and send it, right? So technically it's been tested, but we didn't test it on the way back. And right now, that's what we do. It all gonna depends how we're gonna close the 4 hour right now. Goes below it, it's done. That level, it's done. Because overall, the daily afterwards, today, it's gonna matter at most, right? If we're gonna close the daily right now below 68 or below 68.4, right? All of this from this whole body, daily body, and the Q2, it's done. Not any more valid at all. Right? The leftovers is the VIC and 67-ish plus the rest. And after that, yep, nuke down. And don't get scared, right? Because we could potentially drop another 10% easily because there is nothing here anymore. So the thing is, like, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit different on it, and this is as well, like, I kind of don't like to give the market update because I'm not that in depth as Viking with TradFi and everything, like the rotation of it, and when one does this, then the other goes that. Like for me, like, yeah, that could be the case. SurfTube. That could be definitely the case. That could be the biggest driver into the whole momentum. But right now, like if you look in front of you, right, on this chart, like, are we not doing that already? Right? Like the question is, like, right now, what we are looking for, the whole reasoning behind something, right? But the reasoning is, to be clear with you, right? Break of the first low, second, third, and right now attempting to the fourth one. So what does this say to you? Are we in a strong position or in a quite weak position right now? Right? Could be this the continuation? Yes. Did we see this somewhere? Yeah. You can argue with me, but yeah, I think we saw that quite clearly over here as well, right? Same thing. I'm gonna make it quite clear. Range 1, breakout. Range 2, 3, below the breakout. And even that was heavier, because I agree with Viking on that one, because that range was below the first range what we set up before the breakout. Over here, we didn't do that, right? Because that was the range first, that was the second one. Now the third, why is it different? That was the second one, the breakout. Now the third one was technically inside this range, but we wick and we broke the low on it. So already I'm considering this as a lower range previously before we went into the breakout. And what did we do after that? Nuke, break everything what's been need to be broken, right, on the structure. And then you have the continuation. Can we slide into the wick? Yes. And then even deeper. What are we doing right now? What's left to break? Now, like I've been saying, this is the last thing that need to be broken. This level, this box. Break that, you are done. Everything what you did over here for 54 days, right? Plus the whole uptrend, that's already almost 100 days. That's going to be invalid with breaking 64. Hey, I was happy about this as well, and about the breakout, but I was clear about the, like, please believe me, or you don't need to believe me, but please know that we could potentially do exactly the same thing. And right now, I think that's quite clear that we are kind of doing the exact same thing. And as well, I've been saying, June Open could potentially play out as a February Open, right? Now, this February Open one been heavily tested as well. Meanwhile, we've been opening up on it, but from here, we just straight up nuke it. Last time we've been here, right? In this whole scenario of the whole bot situation, right? The frequency bots over here, right? Even like this is something as well, like, guys, I don't know how to say that. Try to look for weird patterns, or not so much weird, but something that gives you the ick of, wait, this is wrong, or this doesn't feel right, because I'm going to show you something that's literally in front of you, but you need to like realize it first. Then this takes time, I understand that. So okay, let me switch some things off just to make it a little bit more easy on your eyes. So look at that. All of this sideways, what we did over here, right? All of the sideways, right? How does it appear on the oscillation? Now, we've been in freaking negative on the bots in the cash flow, but that cash flow was rising, right, into the neutral line. That said, we've been waiting for the kind of a flip of a scenario, right? where the flip of a scenario happens. It happened kind of over here. Right? You need to zoom in on it, but that happens over here. Still, the bots will be a little bit negative. Price got pushed, right? And then we start to go tin, 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 tin. And technically over here was the real breakout of it, right? The real breakout of the cash flow start to get into the positive, push into the highs, push into the February level, break out from the February level, and then we start to turn around. Okay, but now if you look at it closely, all of those let's say algorithm, I like to call it algorithm bots, right? Where they didn't been switched off, like all of the way up over here, like you can see this, right? Up, 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 in positive, positive, a little bit less positive, positive, bang, into the negative. Over here, that was the February level, right? The literally the level that we've been talking, like, yeah, we should fail from that, or that's the heavy level that's gonna be kind of being our resistance. Then we break out from it because we still a little bit more into the cash positive because the price been pushed, but the algorithm from that moment went down against everything that's been set over here on the breakout. It's done, and they're in continuation. What follows with it is over here, you have the cash flow flipping over into the negative. Now that's the momentum when everything rolls over heavily. And look at that. This is how I can visualize you what I meant with everything that I've been talking through. All of this up momentum, all of these breakouts, and then right now, the failure of it. But literally, it's here on the oscillation. What's the second of the setting of the cash flow? Basic, default. I didn't change anything on it. There is no setting for it. It's default. I cannot give you the script and everything about it or the logic behind it, but yeah, it's default on the Wave Master. This is how you recognize patterns or something fishy about the market. And that started already in April, and we are right now in June. So over here, you had the first sign. Was something like, yeah, shit, that's not right. After that, you had the reversal sign, right? The crossover from the cash flow. The second one was literally on the top. And from that momentum was the rolling pin. Right? It's everything is in front of you. Same thing here. If you don't believe me in that one, all right, what did we do months ago, like almost a year ago, right? Breaking sideways for ages, setting a thin layer above the neutral line, right? So technically, where did we break out on the structure? Was somewhere over here. Second positive inflow, right? The algorithm bot's been still switched on a little bit. Where was the major flip of it? Literally over here, right? Positive cash flow. Algorithm went through the roof, right? Sending, break out of this structure, right? Now, where was something fishy about it? Over here. A little bit more later, right? It's not in front of the whole breakout, but after the breakout. But then the algorithm bots, where did it go switched over? Over here. Now failure, sideways, and then you had the last tipping over. That was the cash flow going into the negative, and bang, you have the continuation. That's it. That's all. Nothing else to add to it. I'm sorry. I hope that's a little bit clear and gives you a little bit more visualization to the whole scenario and what I'm kind of trying to show you, right? How to see things, how to spot things as well. Right? Patterns, like I like the patterns because that's the whole thing, how the market is built as well. And structure is as well a pattern, right? That market likes to do and copy it, not really copy, but more like do the similar thing to itself. And that's it. Like if you're gonna spot that small things into the market, believe me, it's gonna be much more easier and much more less stressful for you by trading it. Like pattern is as well. What are we doing over here? Right? Breakout, failure, retest, but it's still higher. Failure, another retest. What's that? Would you rather take, for example, a try to short this with the invalidation of not even 1%, or take the trade like, for example, crazy as this with the invalidation of 7%? Or you can make, believe me, I've been challenging myself. You can make this as small as possible if you know how to use the low time frames to your advantage of perfect error trades. But that's something if you're going to be a little bit more experienced with trading. But this is all, right? Like, it's all there written into the charts and structure wise. But yeah, okay, enough of yapping. Let me switch this off, on again, and then yeah, let's watch the 4 hour. That's going to be quite important. Still 1 hour left, so you have two kind of candles forming from now on. So yeah, we grab the liquidity, small rebounds from the leftover liquidity, and holding by, if the indicator starts to load, yeah, holding on the Q2, still fine, still good, right? Potential bounce, right? But then what did we do? That's why I said, like, switch on the lines on the wicks, because then you're gonna see what you exactly did, right? If that's the line from the wick, and you're gonna go here, oh boy, look, we went lower. Oh, what does that mean? It's already in a broken structure. And this is it, no matter what. Even if you close higher, right, Q2 whatsoever, that's gonna be just a small bounce for into the resistance areas. But where are we? Like, officially, we are still in the broken structure. Why? Because we are lower than what's the line? 67.7, right? Yes, still a little more support below, but no matter what, we've been breaking all of that stuff already, go to the downside, and this is the last, literally last leg that we can stand on, right? All of the stuff around 66. Right now, 4 hour went lower. Does that mean that's a lower low in any kind of form? So yeah, next step, 66. That's the level. There's nothing else, right? Losing that 66, it's yeah, something special coming. Poor, no, I didn't look. I mean, I did look on the poor, but I didn't analyze. Like, yeah, it's still in the uptrend. Like, yeah, like similar to hype. It lost its lows, like it tends to do, right? Losing the low and then just ripping off. Yeah, it's still in continuation. Like, the next step, to be honest with you, I would like to flip the August level. I'm gonna go by the numbers because they are freaking long of the price, and on-side readers of Q4. Those are the low next levels. Like, the rest, like, yeah, just chip away. Like, that's why I said, like, with those kind of small market caps, just chip away, right? Like, use, for example, from now on, I don't know, like 10%, because it tends to go around 10%, and then every single 10% or front run it to 9.5, chip away, like 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%, 5% whatsoever. Right, if you make ready profit on that one, yeah, that's how I attempt to do. So yeah, cheers, go. Good session. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It's helpful for some people. Like I said, I'm sorry, I'm not Viking. I don't want to compare myself to him, because I have my own point of views on the markets. Most of the times we are lying, like 99% with the point of view on it. But I do still my own things and my own ways of trading and seeing things and putting it together. Sometimes it's quite nice maybe to see that as well, a different side, right? It's refreshing. But yeah. So yeah, this is still nice. Nice continuation. But boy, this was a really nice sell-off. Yeah, I can use MMT. It's broken on my side. I connected support already. It doesn't want to show me the things that I click on it, so it's weird. Maybe I need to change the browser for it. But yeah, I would like to show you things as well, but it's heavy and broken now. Wiki of this group. Oh mate, please. There are better people, I guess. I just like to do my thing. But hey, I'm happy it's working for you guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. But yeah, anything else that you want to look at? Any tokens? Any different styles of doing things? Show me, tell me, give me. Boy, this is a freaking big spread. 81%, like gee. Yeah, nice. Last time we've been a little bit lower, 9 more percent, and we're gonna be lower than the freaking dump of February. Boy. Yeah. How is the? Yeah, it's still not picking up. Ooh. Yeah, that's scary, right? If the market, and this is as well like big sellout, right? As well, if the market tend to do that, and even the volatility not starting to pick up on the volume, boy, prepare yourself. You see, this is as well the reason why body matters. Like going through the whole structure, and this is heavy structure because it's technically whole market, right? This is the wick, this is the wick of it. But the body, right? What did we do? Like, yeah, you close over here, but that's nothing major because you didn't sell a new high. Where is the major one? This. Where did you close? Right? You can wick into the highs and then come back, reverse, close below, continuation. Right? Right now, what we're gonna do? If you close the daily below 729, down. But you're gonna find yourself. Technically, next support, that's gonna be around this. But that's already been tested, right? Wick, tested. Where's the next one? Nothing, nothing. This been tested as well by this wick. Ooh, boy, that's a nice one. Another push of what? 2.8% overall market. Shit, believe me, that's gonna be painful for some people. And here, this is as well something like yeah, right? Like, this structure, like it, is it similar to something that we know, right? How does it play out? Quite easy. This is the highest peak. What did we do? Range before, breakout, range, failure, range. Fail this, where do you go? Maybe range and then another one. Simple, put it in, right? Like I said, everything adds up. But yeah, I'm not gonna bore you anymore. I think that's quite clear, and the whole road trip where we go and aim for it's as well clear, and we know what to expect in the worst case scenario, right? I'm looking at order blocks, sorry. Yeah. Still continuation, right? What's the low time frame? Like, especially like even on 1 hour, like I would go as low as I can. Right? If you're gonna see kind of like, let's say a reversal sign and you're gonna close one candle above another one already, that could be a small sign for potential small pullbacks, right? And then start to hold, or maybe a creation of another range, right? Like we did somewhere over here or here, right? That kind of stuff. Still, overall, everything is aiming to go lower. So yeah, don't go against it. Like, there is no need, please. Like, please. If you're not like in a trade already, then wait out. There's gonna be always another one. but just don't step in front of it and think like, oh, we're gonna bounce, we're gonna do like 20% up. No, that's not happening. Please, just wait it out. Wait for the confirmation, right? At least, like, if you really want some kind of confirmation, I don't like 15 minutes. But then if you want that, go for the 15 minutes chart, right? And see something like reversal, right? And even like better one, reversal, holding the level, and then do kind of like two-way setup, like small continuation, pull back, and then take a trade, right? That's only then if you want to long something, but otherwise wait for either way, here, here, or here. 3 potential shorts. And daily one, no brainer. What is it? Yeah, June 1, no brainer. A big time no brainer. When it's not going into the stables, directly into the alts, skipping ETH this cycle. I mean, right now what we are doing, it's not the whole cycle, right? So to give you a little bit more, I think here, this is gonna be the good example. If you're looking where the money goes, capital flow. The capital is the money, right? You go on a high time frame, weekly, and here, if you add more tickets to it, if you think they are important, but those are the most important right now, here it's written exactly where is the money. To be honest with you, and this is not the whole market, most of it, biggest chunk of it, it's this: HYPE, NASDAQ, SPX. Where is the money not going into? More likely going out from it. It's of this: Bitcoin, ETH, and the rest of the like ALGO or whatsoever. Like their whole list, what's negative, it's going out. The small parts of it, when they are like in positive, you can see clearly that's the flip of where the flow is going into it, right? Heavily into the stocks, definitely, right? Maybe some commodities in round out, some of the alts, but it's not the whole cycle. Don't get me wrong. This, what we are doing right now, or this momentum of the flip, what we did from April, it's not the whole cycle, because the whole cycle has been already for a couple of months, as 1.5 years going on, and we still have a couple months to go for, right? Because let me show you that, and I think Viking showed you that as well. Which one is it? I don't remember which one is it. Not that one. Yeah, market groups. Because right now what we are doing, it's not a cycle. Look, we've been doing the whole momentum to the downside, right? It's been already going on from October, as clearly as it gets, right? And from that moment, we are what? 150 days already into this downtrend, right? So it's not from yesterday, it's not from the last month, it's not from like a couple months, it's quite heavily from 2025 October going into it, right? So yeah, we are in a downtrend, right? Potentially, like there is even more waiting for us, right? Like this been drove like for ages ago to 36. We could wick into that. Logically, I would see it around 44-ish area, bottoming out. And then what's going to happen is you have a period of super sideways with almost no volume into it. That's for like, let's say for like 90, maybe spread it into like 120 days before we're going to see some potential of uptrend or accumulation going on. But the cycle is not done, right? That could be as well. And so, for example, if you're aiming for that kind of particular way of like, okay, if it's not going to Bitcoin, then ETH, or it should be the whole beam situation, right? That still can happen, right now the market is just down, the crypto market is down, the stock market is up, there is going the money, right? So for us, also in Bitcoin, we could potentially do one more, and then when we're gonna do this low volume, right, all of that freaking money what went out from it can go into the ETH to do that one more blast. So then you start to get your beam situation, right? But it's not going to be exactly like you think, like, oh, Bitcoins go down, then ETH need to go up. No, that's not happening. That's never going to happen like that. Because still, you need to understand one thing. Technically, everything what Bitcoin does, it takes everything with it, right? Everything is built technically as well on Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is the main one. Everything after that, it's just trash, technically. Okay? There is no longer existing coin than Bitcoin. Bitcoin was the first, it's the main, and most of it been built on Bitcoin or with Bitcoin or whatsoever, right? So no matter what Bitcoin does, it takes it with it. But then in the momentum of, yeah, okay, Bitcoin goes sideways, right? Or it's gonna go into the accumulations season, or in this way, or in this way. Those are the moments when the rest of the market takes off, because not only there is no volume coming in, no one is buying or pressing on Bitcoin, everything else, it goes into the different markets to take that advantage of its momentum. If that makes sense, and in my head it does, but yeah, anyhow, it's been quite a long stream, 1.5 hours, so sorry yapping so long. I hope Viking is going to be back tomorrow, so you're going to have finally a proper stream with a market update. But I hope that was learning curve as well, but as well thoughtful and quite informative for all of you. And yeah, if anything, then please, by all means, let me know. We are here, and take care. Bye bye.